and hopefully get a scholarship. Professionalism, the skill, good judgment, and polite behavior that is expected from a person who is trained to do a job well. Some professional skills are like how to write an email using complete sentences, reading or rereading an email before you send it, and if the situation has a lot of emotion, maybe even waiting a day or 2 days, or letting someone else even read it before you send it to make sure the intent that you had in the email is there and not more than you wanted. You don't want to create an emotion that you didn't intend. How to be assertive versus aggressive. So how can you get something you really think you should have without doing it in an aggressive manner? Aggressive has some hostility base to it, where assertive is more of an asking but very strongly, and aggressive would be more like demanding in a not as nice way. So that's a fine nuance that we can teach them. How to be constructive versus destructive, or teaching them how to have constructive criticisms. If they don't have a better solution to the problem, how can they tell someone that it's not working? Even if to say, I don't know how to make it work better, but this is not working for me. And then together brainstorming with ideas. So let's look at integrity. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness, honesty, honor, ethics, morality, decency, sincerity, and truthfulness. So this is one of those things that I think can come up throughout the year, just emphasizing how someone's history of how they've behaved impacts how they might be believed. So emphasizing this before a situation arrives, that their reputation can speak more than words. If someone comes up to you and says one thing, you may believe them because they have a history of being honest and on time or consistent. And then teach them to own their mistakes, because I'm not expecting everybody to be perfect or anybody to be perfect. But when they do make a mistake, just say, I'm sorry, I did do that. What can I do to make it right? Or, I'm sorry, I did that. I had to make a decision, and that's what I decided would be the best thing to do. I'm sorry if that was not the best thing to do, but at the time, that's what I thought. It's okay to make a decision and be wrong. So just own it so it can be fixed and resolved, and it keeps your integrity in check. Teach them they can change a lie into, instead of telling a story, they can say something creative like, I'd like to say I'm late because, and then tell their creative story that was the lie they were going to use. But the truth is, I just overslept. Or if they think of something creative, they could start off, instead of saying, you know what I did one time, they could start off with, wouldn't it be funny if, and then tell that same story. And that holds their integrity, but still gets that creative side to go. Now let's look at advising or mentoring. An advisor is a person who gives advice, typically someone who is an expert in a particular field. And a mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor. Now, the particular field I think we are all experts in is we are all experts at going to school and finishing school. We have all been to college and we've all graduated. So we know how to do that, and we can guide and mentor students to do this. So right now, I'd like you to take some time to look at some things. Can you name 3 students you had last year or that you have this year that need a mentor? And you can jot those names down on your note sheet that you have. Now, what are some opening questions to get to know that student better on a more personal level? Are they interested in sports? It's a good casual opener before you ask something too personal. Do you have any brothers and sisters? Do you have any other ideas of questions you could ask? How do you get to school? Now, how can you let a student know that you would like to be his or her advisor? You just want to invite them back? Send them a note? Tell them to come in during study hall, or come to my room after class, I want to talk to you? And then when they get there, they might be worried that it's going to be something not good, but you just tell them you just wanted to talk. How can you help students see academic ways to resolve situations in their life? They don't have to be stuck where they are if they don't like it. They can use their education as a way of escaping, both now and later. Going to their room and reading a book, that kind of escapes what's happening in a house, but also helps advance their education. So what else can you do as a mentor to advise them? All right, now how can we incorporate resourcefulness, resilience, ambition, professionalism, and integrity into your classroom? So can you jot down some lesson ideas or ways you can have repeated references to these things in your classroom? Maybe some off-topic of education conversations, talking about things happening in the news, not necessarily pertaining to your subject. Or maybe a mixture of these things. Incorporate some repeated references, some lesson ideas, or just casual conversation, and have this be a continual theme throughout the year. So now with your table groups, can you share out some ideas you've had for these things and then add them to your the online document we are all going to share. Thank you for listening.